Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Southern Virginia University Women's Lacrosse from the fields at Southern Virginia University. I'm Jim Bresnahan. I'm joined tonight by Emily Winslow, and we are ready to bring you the home opener for the Southern Virginia University Women's Lacrosse team getting ready to take on Emmanuel out of Georgia. The Knights have played just one game so far in this 2018 season, Emily, and they lost that game to Marymount just here recently in the last week or so, 20-4. And again, this is their home opener, so they're trying to pick up win number one of the 2018 season.
Yeah, it should be a really good game today. There's a lot of new rules and a lot of new situations that the girls are still getting used to, but this is a really good team. I'm really excited for this season, and this is a great team to have their first home opener with.
And the Knights are, of course, hoping to really have a lot of achievements in this 2018 season. They'd love to pick up their first Capital Conference win ever in this 2018 season.
I can see it happening. I really can. This is one of the biggest teams that women's lacrosse has had here. They have a lot of really new, exciting talent, and this team's only getting bigger.
And the Knights are getting ready for the opening draw.
That's McLean
Hardy. And as Emily mentioned, we've got a lot of rule changes, Emily, from just a year ago. If you can kind of take us through some of these rule changes. It looked like on a general basis they're trying to maybe speed up the game while also maintaining safety.
Yeah, really, a lot of these new rules, like you'll see right here, only 3 girls from each team are allowed to take possession over the ball after a draw. And then everyone's allowed to engage. Right here you see that another new rule. The ball went out of bounds, but they're allowed to just keep going. The game isn't stopped. This is a really new, exciting rule. It's going to help the game just move faster and a lot more fun. And there you are.
Megan Barfus right off the
bat.
There
it is.
Scoring quickly.
Oh, wait. We do have a yellow card up on the field.
We did have a player from Emmanuel hit the turf. That was Aguilar. Let's see if that goal is going to count.
And they're going to take Megan right out of the game. They're going to give her the yellow card, looks like.
And apparently that goal will not count. So talk about 180 degrees opposite directions. You go from a goal to a yellow card.
Yeah, let's hope they can still keep that energy, though. That was really quick and really smart on their part, but probably a little too aggressive on Megan's part of it.
You wonder about Emmanuel. Of course, they had the bus ride. Their bus broke down, I understand, earlier this afternoon. This game was supposed to start at 4 o'clock. And delayed a couple of hours, and you just wonder if Emmanuel, right off the bat here in this first half, will be ready to play.
Yeah, I feel bad for them. You can tell that they are a little smaller team than us. They don't seem like they have too many girls on the sideline there, but.
And of course, Emily, you played the last 2 years, and you had a chance to play Emmanuel last year.
I did. They should be able to beat this team.
And right now, the Knights are just trying to get the ball away from Emmanuel, the Lions, out of Emmanuel, Georgia.
This is some great midfield defense we're seeing right here. They're doing a really good job of keeping up with them.
And you can see that rule change right there, because in the past, Emily, I guess the referees would have stepped in, and that might have taken 30 to 40 seconds to actually get that play going again after the thing we just saw there.
Right. As you see, it was really up to the player to decide when she wants to start. You can start right away. That's the beauty of these new rules, is this game's nonstop. It's getting to the point where it's becoming one of the fastest games.
Well, you played the last 2 years, Emily, under the old rules. I bet you wish you had these rules the last 2 years.
It's hard enough to watch them, but to watch these new changes is really exciting.
Good pass right in the middle. Good play by the goalkeeper there for the Knights, Madeline Krause. Of course, she got part-time duty, but now a score by Emmanuel on the second shot. And that was almost point blank for Madeline and just not really able to stop that shot.
Mm-hmm.
So a goal scored by the Lions, and it's 1-0 Emmanuel.
You'll see that the defense has to be a lot more on their toes with these new rules. Since this game is a lot, nonstop, these defenders are really having to learn to stay on their feet and be there for all situations without any breaks.
Players have to get used to these new rules, and of course the referees have to get used to them as well.
Starting out for the draw should be McLean again. She's a really great addition to the team this year. She has played before in Detroit, a D1 school. She adds a lot of talent and versatility to the team. She's really going to be really exciting to watch this season.
And she is a sophomore.
I believe they're going to call that on McLean. She did jump it, but as you'll see, they're just going to jump right into play on.
Good defense there by the Knights. Taken away. I think that's Remington Jarvis coming upfield with it. Knights will go on the attack. Now Hannah King. Hannah King had 3 goals in that Marymount loss. Hannah King had 3.
She didn't see that girl behind her.
Lost it, picked it up momentarily, and now the Lions have it.
I believe they're going to call that oh, they're going to let them keep playing.
Did look like a trip.
It
but,
did.
Looks like the Lions are able to get it upfield. But now the Knights are trying to grab it.
Hopefully we can just bring it back and just settle it down for a second, let everyone reposition. It looks like Remy's just going to kind of hold it here at the top.
Hannah King once again, good pass over the middle. But it was good defense by the Lions because momentarily it looked like Lauren Thatcher had an opening.
You know, she's a really smart player.
Thatcher does score.
Yeah, I was about to say she's a really smart player. She knows when those opportunities are open, and she's really good at reading her defensive player.
She had a goal against Marymount, so that'll be her 2nd goal of the season. Again, they lost to Marymount recently, 20-4, Emily, and 3 of those goals in that 4-goal game for the Knights were again scored by the sophomore Hannah King, but Lauren Thatcher had a goal, and now she's got her 2nd of the season. Yeah,
she's really going to be a real big part of the scoreboard of all games this season. Lauren Thatcher is really aggressive. She's a really great addition. She's a returner. She was here last year, and we're so grateful that she's here again this year.
Speaking of the ones who aren't here from a year ago, a couple of names really stand out, not to mention yourself. But from an offensive standpoint, from the goal scorer standpoint, Zoe Bradshaw, 43 goals last year. Claire Hoteling, I think, had 25. And that is 68 goals you're trying to replace from a year ago.
Yeah, we really were working on a different offense. You know, we have a few key scoring players, and that's what's the beauty about this team this year, that they have so many scores. Like, as you can see right there, right into McLean, and she's not afraid to go in for it. You've got a lot of scores on this team.
Yeah, Megan Barfuss had a goal earlier that was taken away.
Mm-hmm.
How important will it be as we get deeper and deeper into the season to have some of those other potential offensive players really step up their offensive game?
Oh, it's gonna make a big difference, especially when we're coming up against some of these bigger conference teams where they all are amazing athletes and scorers themselves, and being able to combat them with a lot of girls who have the ability to score will definitely make a difference.
Knights have already, of course, played one conference game against Marymount. Their next conference game, I believe, will not be until March the 10th against Mary Washington. And you looked at the preseason rankings for the Capital Conference, and needless to say, Salisbury's #1.
They are the big dogs of this conference, and they have a great program that they really do make us better to have to play up to that level.
It's a good spin move by Emmanuel, but good defense also by the Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Pass into the middle, point-blank shot.
That is some great defense there by, I think that was Hannah.
And Krause with a good play, too, as they tried to ground that one past the goalkeeper.
I'll let Ashley take this one in. This is Ashley Lessing. She's our only senior this year, and has a lot to offer this team. We're really glad that she's able to play this one last year with us.
This is a little different for Coach Weber to have only just one senior on the roster.
Yeah, it means a lot for this transition into next year. They're going to be able to just get better and not have to start over with a brand new team. Like, this year is clearly a brand new team, but they look like they're really playing well together. They look organized out there. They look a lot more calm than what I'm used to seeing out there on the field.
Magic Knowles has it right now. Good spin move, trying to find an opening for a shot. She was an important player, too, last year and got a lot of playing time.
Yeah.
You do see, with these new rules, just fewer stoppages in play by the referees. But I would imagine, again, I don't know if it'd be a bigger adjustment for the referees to adjust to these new rules, or maybe the players.
Yeah, as you can see right here, this was a new rule. This defensive hash mark the hash mark right next to the shooter is automatically given to the defensive player. No matter where they were on the field, they get that advantage. You can see that Lauren Thatcher shot, but missed it on the bottom right corner. But she's able to bring it right back in as it was, just out of bounds on a shot.
Facing 2 or 3 defenders trying to find a teammate. There's
Remy. That's definitely gonna be shooting space. So we're gonna see that Remy's gonna be able to get this shot in one more time, and you'll see the girls are learning. They're learning where they're allowed to be, where they're not allowed to be. Defense is allowed to take both of those hashes right next to her.
Goalkeeper is Tiana Machado for Emmanuel. And we'll see if Jarvis takes a shot on goal here. Trying to get the go-ahead goal, but it was a good stop by Machado, the goalkeeper for Emmanuel.
Yeah, I'm really actually impressed at the beginning of this game. They're doing a really good job of midfield defense. You can see that all those girls were marked.
Natalie Rice with the shot.
Great shot.
She basically went in uncontested. No one stopped her, and Natalie Rice puts the Knights on top here for the first time, 2-1.
Yeah, and that really started with that great defense. She was ready for when that ball dropped. They're doing a great job of doing this really tight defense right after shots are made.
And so the Knights have come from a 1-0 deficit to take their first lead here, 2-1. Just over 5 minutes into this first half between the Lions and the Knights. Some of the spring sports, of course, Emily, so dependent on weather, baseball and softball, but not quite for lacrosse. About the only thing that'll wipe lacrosse out will be lightning, I guess, in a big snowstorm.
That's it. Yeah, they play on everything. The only one they do stop for is lightning.
Now, 2 years ago, I think we had some nasty spring weather, but I don't think you guys ever lost any lacrosse games 2 years ago.
Oh, that was definitely a little aggressive.
I think that was Lauren Thatcher. But it looks like the player from Emmanuel is going to be able to get right up. That's number 8, Marzanik.
And you'll see the play, they just get to start right when she's ready. There's Lauren there doing a great job of sticking with her.
Good defense by the Knights and the takeaway. And here comes Magic Knowles trying to fight through a triple team.
They're going to let her just grab that ball and move on, even though it was a dangerous check.
And you can see what that's going to speed up the game. Each time you have an occurrence like that, what, a good 30, 40 seconds? Because in the past, the referees would stop play for 20, 25 seconds, set everybody in position before the play would restart, and the Knights score again. A third goal here in the first half for the Knights.
Megan Barfus,
who had scored the opening goal, had it taken away on a yellow card, but gets a chance to redeem herself and scores. Of course, they still check the stick after each goal.
Oh, yeah.
That rule has not changed. And you have very few goals, obviously, taken away because of the stick.
No, but it does happen. One of the problems though that does occur is you do forget to put your stick down after you score. I have had that problem happen to me. You do have to remember to drop that stick or they will call you for it.
So the Knights have scored 3 straight goals after trailing early 1-0.
They've been doing really good here of fighting after these draws. These draws really is half the game here is who can start with possession.
And when you looked at the numbers, from the Marymount game where they lost 20-4, the Knights actually did pretty well in draws. The problem was, I guess, was clears on defense and of course turnovers.
Great defense, great defense.
Emmanuel's trying to work it upfield, and the Knights are able to get the takeaway. That was Owens with it momentarily. But now the Lions are back on the attack, trailing 3-1. Knights really packing in that defense. You know, this particular occasion, looks like Emmanuel is going to go kind of patient and conservative and look for an opening across the middle maybe.
Great save by Maddie Krause. She's looking for somebody that's open.
The other goalkeeper, Jessica Jaster, got the start against Marymount, and then about halfway through, I guess, Krause took over. And you wonder, Emily, if they'll just go with the hot goalkeeper or if they're kind of alternate.
Yeah, it's just one of those positions where you have to know, looks like she lost that shot, but is able to bring it back on the field.
Yeah,
By Megan
Barfus almost
Barfus.
able to get her second goal. She comes right back to the goalkeeper off the
Hits
bar.
the pipe. No, goalie is one of those positions where you just have to, you have an on game or you have an off game, and you really have to be a good coach and be able to recognize when is a good opportunity to keep them on the field.
Natalie Rice with a takeaway for the Knights. A lot of the rules have not changed, Emily. I guess that's still the 90-second possession rule.
Yeah, that is new
Oh,
this
what
year.
a shot. That was Hannah
Great.
King. I think that'll be her 4th of the season. Again, she had 3 against Marymount, and she went low with that shot.
Yeah, she definitely drew the goalie out of that one, and she placed that very smart.
So that's 4 straight goals now by the Knights, and they've taken a 4-1 lead. This game was originally going to be played on the 17th of February. Had to be postponed because of the weather. And it was supposed to play at 4 o'clock, start at 4 o'clock today. But again, I believe Emmanuel had some problems on the bus getting up here. And as a result, started at 6 o'clock tonight. So Emmanuel wants to talk it over here, Emily. And the Knights, outside of that opening goal, have almost been perfect, coming from behind 1-0.
Yeah, they're doing a really great job defensively. You can tell that they're really utilizing the element of crashing in when girls are trying to drive it in, but they do need to realize that they've got girls. Emmanuel's got girls that are really fast that cut in through on the 8, and that's when they're able to get those breakaway shots.
Knights have only 2 more games after this before their next conference game. We mentioned March the 10th, Mary Washington will be the next conference game. They will be going to Greensboro next Friday on the 2nd, and then a week from Tuesday on the March the 6th, they'll host Ferrum. You look at the conference games, Mary Washington is a home game on the 10th. You got a road game at Salisbury on March the 31st, and then several home games in the conference in April against Frostburg on the 11th of April and also York on the 21st. Road games at Wesley and Christopher Newport and St. Mary's in April. You mentioned, I guess, that matchup they've got on April the 11th at home against Frostburg as being maybe a great chance to win a conference game and maybe a few other chances.
Yeah, especially with this team. They've got a lot of new possibilities coming in. Here we can see Anna at the draw. That's one really great advantage that this team does have, is that there are multiple girls who can take the draw and can handle it really well. Here you can see that Anna has a different element of the draw than McLean has. And that's really good for confusing the other team.
That time the draw taken by the Emmanuel Lions, and they go to work down by 3 goals. You would think, maybe from an offensive philosophy standpoint, especially if they're at all fatigued, that Emmanuel might really kind of move it out and kind of work it around the perimeter, hoping to catch the Knights napping as opposed to being really aggressive. And that time the Knights were able to get the takeaway and move it upfield.
With Ashley Lessing. Oh, went in almost for the goal, but was definitely checked.
But the turnover for Emmanuel, Knights get it right back.
Oh, a little bit of tumble out of bounds there.
That was Jarvis going down.
Yeah, when you're on a team that doesn't have as many substitutes, you really want to take it to your advantage, to any opportunity you can to settle the ball and keep it calm. Looks like we had a girl who stepped on her stick, if I'm not mistaken, so they're going to give the ball right over to Emmanuel. It looks like she's going to drive it down.
And the Lions getting it close. Wide open in front of the goal, but the pass mishandled, luckily for the Knights. That
Great
would have
pickup
been
by
a
Krause.
point-blank shot for Colleen Malone of Emmanuel.
Madison Dibble lost the ball, but she's a pretty fast girl. She can handle it. She can take that ball all the way down the field if she needs to.
She's a freshman from Draper, Utah.
Here's Magic Knowles. That one thing I love about her is she's not afraid to take on 2, 3 girls. She'll plow her way right through any defenders. Nothing scares her.
pass a little behind Thatcher, taken from a Emmanuel standpoint upfield now.
That was definitely a check, but this is one of the new rules. They're just going to let her keep running if it's to her advantage. Here we see the girls are definitely taking on a double team. I love it. I love seeing our team take any advantage of a double team to stop girls from coming in. Great defense by Maddie Dibble.
And now the Lions go to work on the left side, or on the right side. They go to the middle now and fire. Good stop by Krause. Shot was taken by Megan Short, a junior for Emmanuel.
Looks like Ellie's going to bring it in for Emmanuel.
Good
oh,
pass
wide
right
open.
in the middle.
Oh.
Ooh. Good stop by Krause. And it didn't look like the player from Emmanuel, Malone, really had a firm grip on that ball when she tried to shoot it towards the goal.
No, that was really one of those ideal situations you want to be in when you're shooting on goal. No one and nothing in between you.
Another good stop by Krause.
She is having a really good game.
Got a shot from point-blank range, and it was attempted off the ground.
Remington Jarvis is going to take it down. She's going to go ahead and pass it to Lauren Thatcher.
And Thatcher moves towards the middle. We'll see if she takes it all the way. Weaving past defenders, tries to spin move, and
yes,
scores.
There it is, Lauren Thatcher.
I believe that is her second tonight and third of the season.
Yeah, that's not the last we're going to see of Lauren Thatcher. She's a smart player, aggressive player, and when she has her eye on the goal, nothing stops her.
So now the Knights have scored 5 straight goals and have a 5-1 lead. Emmanuel has played 3 games this season. Their most recent 15-13 loss to Newberry.
Yeah, you see here now they're going to have McLean take the draw again.
Don't know if you can answer this, Emily, but how long have these rules been in the works? Was there a lot of talk but obviously maybe even having some of these last season perhaps?
Yeah, no, I don't know the specific answer on that one, but I do know that this has definitely been it's been due for change for a long time now. It's one of those things where there's a lot of elements of the game that's really dangerous for the girls out there. It's one of, the most high concussion sports, and they're really trying to figure out a way to keep this sport non-contact and safe for the girls.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. We see obviously a radically different situation with men's lacrosse in that they have a lot of contact. Will they ever get to the point where maybe they'll have light contact, some contact, but not anything like the men's contact?
I really don't know, but I believe my opinion on it is it's either going to be all or nothing. Either they're going to give them pads and let them go for it, or they're going to keep it the way it is. And I love the sport the way it is. I feel like there's a lot more grace and thought that has to go into every move when you're dealing with a non-contact sport.
And King almost able to get that one past the goalkeeper. Trying once again to go with her shot off the ground, but it didn't work.
And man, do I have to say, these rule changes are really changing up the game here. I mean, these girls have been running nonstop. You think about it from a standpoint of being on the field. They haven't had any break. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no breaks.
Because we talked about with under the old rules, and it's I guess it would vary game to game. But I'm thinking it probably had how many, I don't know, 20, 25, 30, if you want to call them breaks in action, and each one could vary from 20 to maybe 50 seconds, depending on how long it took for the referees to stop play and get everybody in position before the referees would actually restart play. And it was a lot of timeouts for the ladies out there, and obviously fewer of those.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Nancy told me at the beginning of the season. Nancy definitely said one of their big things they're going to have to work on is getting these girls in shape. This is a new game. There's no more stopping, and you really got to be able to run up and down the field nonstop.
Does that make it more about conditioning or more about having a deeper squad where you can have lots of substitutions and maybe get the players off the field who are fatigued?
Ideally both, and that's exactly what this team is this year. I mean, I remember last year we were short for subs on the side, and you can see right there on the sideline how many girls there are that are willing and able to jump in any minute, and that really changes the game for all players.
The Knights are also doing a good job tonight against Emmanuel, Emily, when it comes to not having a lot of turnovers and possessing the ball. That was a problem they had against Marymount in that 20-4 loss.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, and you just see this clean transitions, and they're able to get the ball all the way down to to the side and get opportunities to score. So you're going to see there that signal that ref's making is he's going to let the game keep going. He's not going to stop it because it's giving the advantage to the home team, to the team that has possession.
Magic Knowles.
Oh.
Ran into a triple team, lost the ball. Thatcher tried to grab it, couldn't. Let's keep battling.
Knowles going on out there.
Yeah, Knowles was able to knock that away. Gets it over to Jarvis.
All right, here we have McLean at the top. They're definitely going to situate something here for a beautiful play, hopefully. Oh, there it is.
Hardy with
McLean,
the spin move
Hardy.
and the shot.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. That was definitely one of the further shots. That was a great shot by McLean.
So four different players have scored tonight for the Knights, and that, I believe, is now 6 straight goals for Southern Virginia. They have gone from a 1-0 deficit to a 6-1 lead. Against Marymount, that game last week we talked about, Emily, they fell behind 16-1 at halftime and played pretty even in the second half, but obviously very tough to come from a 16-1 deficit.
Yeah, it's really interesting being in the position where we are in this conference. You know, everyone who we play is definitely on a higher caliber, and all of the non-conference games that we play are sometimes on the opposite end of things, and it's hard to keep a consistency of our personal play, but these girls are doing a great job here of really defending their home field.
Well, you know, when it comes to non-conference games, it's probably hard to find someone who is somewhat, I guess, equative to maybe a Salisbury.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I'm sure, you know, Jason Lamb, the athletic director, tells me this all the time. When you talk about non-conference in just a lot of sports, it's really hard to find opponents.
Yeah, you want to make sure that they keep you on your A game. You really do tend to play the level of the team that you are against, and that's one advantage that we have of playing against these really harder teams like Salisbury and St. Mary's is that they do allow us to step up our game and play harder than we ever normally would.
Yeah, it would be hard for, let's say, if Salisbury was coming up on Saturday to go from this game to Salisbury on Saturday. But the Knights, after today, will not be playing again until the following Friday, March the 2nd, against Greensboro, coming up on Friday. That'll be a road game. I have to imagine the referees really like these new rules once they've adjusted to them.
Yeah, it changes all elements of the game. We're going to get a free possession shot here for Emmanuel. As you can see, Southern Virginia was able to take those 2 hashes from wherever they were on the field to defend it. Great shot for Emmanuel.
It was a good pass, too. Usually after that play restarts, the player with the ball will actually take the shot, but that time passing to the left and maybe taking the Knights off guard.
Yeah, she did a good job of reading the fact that she had 2 defenders on her and she had a player across the 8 who was wide open. It's kind of hard to defend those kind of opportunities.
And so after 6 straight goals by the Knights, it is Emmanuel scoring to make it 6-2. Knights still have a pretty healthy 4-goal lead right now.
They're going to let, this is Anna taking the draw again.
How much experimentation in the non-conference, especially this early in the season, is Coach Weber going to go with just to see which combination works?
I think that's something that she actually does really well with all games, really. We really do a good job of mixing up draws and player positions. You know, she really teaches you, if you're on her team, that you have to be versatile. You have to be willing to play out of your comfort zone and help give the advantage to us in that all players really can play all positions.
Here's Thatcher with it outside, looking to make a move. Now looking for a teammate, can't find anybody.
Did look like there was 3 seconds on Emmanuel, but I don't know what this specific call is on. If it is 3 seconds, it is a free position shot.
And Hannah King's got it right now. See if she takes the shot here.
You can see one of the famous moves over here on the right Emmanuel's doing is you can give your player a little push to help get them a little faster into there. Megan Barfus is going to bring it in.
Knights come right back. I think that was a pass and not a shot by Barfus.
So, yeah, Lawrence definitely got to stop that before it gets out of bounds. She did a good job of that.
And Thatcher looking for a teammate, maybe someone across the middle. It's Barfus with it.
They're doing a good job of not throwing away a really bad pass here. They're really good at understanding that it's better to hold on to it and keep it than it is to lose it on maybe a breakaway that wasn't as available as they thought.
Knights did have a lot of turnovers against Marymount in that 20-4 loss. They actually did pretty well in face-offs and draws, and struggled on defense trying to clear at times. But this is King, Hannah King.
Yeah, this is definitely, I can almost see it in my mind right now. This is Nancy. We've got a phrase out there is when you're getting sticky, meaning you're holding on to that ball a little too long, you're taking too long to look at the opportunities that you're seeing when you really should just be passing that around, and the ball should be moving faster than your feet, really.
The whole reason, I guess, for that is just to keep the defense off guard.
Exactly, yeah. The longer you hold on to it, it's actually a better advantage for the defender. They can see the ball, but when you're passing it around, it's harder to keep up.
On the restart, King going with a low shot, stopped by the goalie for Emmanuel.
That was actually a great clear pass by Emmanuel. But SV is doing a great job of keeping up with them midfield. I mean, that's full speed right there. They're all keeping up with her.
So is that like an underappreciated category of stat, is just clears?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's up there with draws. I really feel like that's half of possession right there. It's depending on how well you're able to fight or come back from a draw or a clear. As we can see right now, Krause is going to clear it.
Yeah, that to me, I was thinking probably every coach, every player, I guess, has a different theory about what's the most important category. But to me, I was thinking draws and turnovers, because it's simply if you've got possession,
it's something you can control. Can control. Yeah. There's Sydney Winterton. She brought it down in and she passed it over to Lauren Thatcher.
Thatcher looking for someone maybe across the middle. When does she decide now, while looking for a teammate, when is she going to decide to go one-on-one?
You know, sometimes those plays are designed for that. You know, you saw all those players coming in from the right side, cutting into the left from our view here. And that play really is designed for that girl coming in to take that one-on-one. You know, Nancy's always been very strong about her opinion on any girl can be a shooter. You know, take opportunities when you can, because that one-on-one is a better shot than us passing it into the middle with a lot of girls. And here they're going to let McLean go ahead and take a free position. She's got a fast shot. This has got a really good chance of going in.
Well, she's already got a goal tonight, I believe.
Looks like it was checked before she was able to really give that a full
really
shot.
Didn't have a lot of speed behind that shot. That was just good defense by Emmanuel.
Yeah, so you can see here they called a push on McLean, but by the time McLean got behind her, she already went downfield. So she took that advantage to just keep going.
So these new rules, how does it take the players a lot to adjust, or maybe after a game or two, or obviously a few scrimmages, you're ready to go? You know,
I still think it depends on how long you've been playing the game. I talked to a few girls after their first game, and they just say sometimes it's just habit. You know, you just stop when you hear a whistle or you hear something go wrong, and you just think, oh, I gotta freeze. But a lot of the girls are realizing that it's really to your advantage to just keep going, get down there, get down on defense before they can, and take advantage of that. Looks like a shot on Emmanuel. Cross is just a little slow, but it's hard to block those free possession shots.
It was good defense momentarily, but then it looked like the defense let up a little bit, Emily, and the player from Emmanuel kind of split the defenders and then went right in on the goalkeeper.
Yeah. You can see McLean really is doing a great job of being a captain this year. You can see she's got a lot of positivity to add to the team, and right there she's probably telling them to keep their heads up. I know McLean's a very positive girl, and it's hard to keep your head up as a defensive player and to not feel like you let that one happen.
So Anna Walters will take the draw here at 6-3. The Knights had a 5-goal lead, 6-1, but now Emmanuel's come back with 2 goals to cut it to 3.
One of the advantages here that Anna has is she's what we call a pusher. You can see that her main objective was to get that draw forward right into, was that Hannah King?
Hannah King's got it right now. Nice pass to Thatcher, but it went over her head. Battle down there. Looks like it's going to be Winterton trying to grab it, but not able to.
Yeah, now these girls got to run. These girls got to get down there and stop this. One thing that I've noticed from Emmanuel is they're running the ball a lot. They're not really giving themselves a lot of opportunity to pass midfield, which is leaving them exhausted by the time they get down there. Maddie Dibble with the defense, and she's joined by Hannah. Oh, great. Oh!
Oh, Krause
Oh,
just
Krause.
able to keep it from going across.
Oh,
that was close, maybe inches.
Oh, my heart. Close. Close, my
And
Krause.
the problem was she just didn't know where it was.
Yeah, you can't blame her. She's got that helmet, and it's a lot different perspective than these girls with just these goggles over their eyes. Megan Barfish, she wants it, and she
had
got
taken
checked.
away.
You know, that's the danger of, she's got a cradle that's a little bit further from her body. It leaves it really vulnerable for a girl to check.
Which is difficult, to make sure you've got possession, don't have it taken away from you while you're also preparing for a shot.
Correct. Oh,
3 straight goals now by Emmanuel. I think that was Tara Lawson scoring, and Emmanuel was trailing 6-1. The Knights had a commanding 5-point lead, and now it's down to 2.
yeah, their defense is looking a little sparse. I know that they are a strong defensive team. They just gotta kind of pull their heads in together and decide to be a little bit more aggressive on that defensive end.
Well, you have to credit Emmanuel. They were losing 6-1, and they took a timeout and kind of talked things over. And it looked like the Knights really, especially on the offensive end, were having their way with the Emmanuel Lions. But now the Knights have given up 3 straight goals, and now Emmanuel's climbed back into it and only trailing here 6-4.
Yeah, Emmanuel's done a really good job of driving those shots in, and SVU's done a great job of causing them to have to pass, but these girls are looking really fast.
So what do you think Claire is telling the team right now?
You know, it's hard when you're in these positions because it's hard not to get too confident in yourselves when you think that this is a guaranteed win, and it's when you start seeing these slip-ups like this when they're starting to get close where you really got to realize you're not playing the level that you are capable of. Right now, these girls are capable of more than this, and they know that. It's hard to not play to the caliber of the team that you're playing against.
Well, we've got a timeout. It's also a good chance to salute the men's lacrosse team. They won again today against Baldwin Wallace, and so they have started the season 4-0, and they've got Christopher Newport coming in here on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. This whole lacrosse program is definitely really exciting to watch. Every year is just getting better and better on both sides.
And I would imagine they've maybe got some payback on their minds, having been knocked out of the Capital Tournament by Christopher Newport the last 2 seasons, I believe.
Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of aggression you'll see probably at the next game.
That's coming up on Saturday. Men's volleyball is coming up tomorrow night. Men's volleyball taking on Eastern Mennonite at the Knight Sports Arena. That'll be 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and men's volleyball is having a heck of a season.
Yes, they are number 8, and they're nationally ranked number 8, I believe it is.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
And baseball, I believe, has won 4 in a row. Coming off a doubleheader sweep last weekend against Penn State Mont Alto. Softball still looking for their first win of the season. They'll be, I believe, hosting Lancaster Bible on Saturday. So let's see how the Knights play coming out of this break in the action, having seen their 5-goal lead shrink to 2.
Yeah, I saw Vic talking to them. She's one of the main defensive coaches, and she's really doing a great job of coaching the defensive end of the field. Hopefully this is an opportunity for defense to really stop any of those drives that Emmanuel is trying to push through. So here we have Anna again at the draw. You're going to see the way she's holding her stick. She's going in for a push at the draw, meaning she wants that ball to go forward. She wants that to go right into Remy's stick, who's at the top right there.
Taking the draw against Megan Short of Emmanuel. See the difference here, Emily, obviously from the men who go down on the field for their draw.
Yeah, this is up in the air. It leaves for a lot more fight up in the air, and it leaves for more people to get in on the action. Draw picked up by Emmanuel. She's going to run it all the way through before she looks for a pass.
And now the Lions have a chance to slice that lead down to 1.
We've got a little bit of a ground ball fight here. It's going to be picked up by Emmanuel, looks like.
That's another key category, kind of like clears. Anything that deals with possession, and ground balls certainly would be one of those categories.
Yeah, ground balls is one of those fundamentals that kind of go down to the basic core of the game, but it's how a lot of games are won. Honestly, it's a possession. It's a a chance to score again.
Good block there by Krause, the goalkeeper. So obviously you need a good goalkeeper, and you need to actually score. You need to have goals, but draws and time of possession and the avoiding turnovers and certainly ground balls all come into play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see the defense is doing a really good job of talking here. Oh, great interception by Maddie Dibble, but it looks like they're going to call. It could be 3 seconds on the Knights. I'm not sure. You know, as a defensive player, you got to watch where your feet are. If you're ever inside the 8 and you're on defense, that's an automatic shot for the other team.
And we'll see if Emmanuel takes the shot here, and if they are able to get it to go, they would only be trailing by 1.
Oh, great pressure by defense on that end. She probably could have had a shot there, but they were there faster than she could get the shot off. See, that was out of bounds on Knights. Once the ball's taken back to the spot where it was out of bounds, they're able to just play it right on. Great crash on defense right there. Deciding to do a double team and causing her to turn over.
They get the takeaway too.
Well, then it's down. See, there you go again. It's down to a ground ball, and really it's 50-50 at that point. Good defense by Anna. You got someone wide open in the 8 right there. Hannah, better stop.
Oh, what a shot that was by Emmanuel. A turnaround shot. I don't think Madeline Krause was expecting that shot, at least when it was taken.
Yeah.
Tara Larson looks like got the goal, and now Emmanuel has scored 4 straight goals.
Yeah, now you see Southern Virginia really doesn't have that lead that they started out with. They've really got to give offense more chances to score so that this is a little bit so it's not as close of a game.
I don't think the Knights really let up when they were on top 6-1 as much as just Emmanuel, for whatever reason, it just caught fire. And the Knights have struggled, obviously, in the last 4 goals scored by Emmanuel to win the draw and maintain possession.
Yeah, now we got McLean in the draw. They're mixing things up. She's more of a puller, what we like to call it. She's gonna either try to get that ball to herself or right down there to Natalie Rice.
And Hardy trying to get it back over.
Natalie with the pickup. Well done. Well done. We needed this. This is a great transition, and hopefully we can hold it on down here.
See if she can get the shot off. Taken away, though, by Emmanuel. At least momentarily. And it'll be Emmanuel ball.
Yeah, they really needed that possession. That would have been a great time to kind of get more ahead of it then. I don't know if they were going to call that. Kind of looked like she fell on her own, but
had a little contact, but it almost looked like incidental.
Yeah, that's another thing about the sport is they're pretty quick to call anything just to keep the game safe.
We talked about the emphasis and the rule changes, and it looked like, Emily, that they wanted to speed up the game, but they did not want to speed up the game at the expense of safety.
Correct. Yeah, safety's always been a real main concern of the sport. Looks like they're going to give the ball back to Ashley Lessing. She was dangerously checked. She's one of the great versatile players. You're going to see her down on defense, but when she gets that ball, man, she can definitely score, and she can definitely run that ball down the field.
Hardy with it. The Knights would love to get a few more goals before halftime. They've been stuck on 6 for a little while now. Nice pass over the middle.
Breakaway.
Goal scored by Jarvis.
Remington Jarvis. That was beautiful. That really was taking the defense by surprise there.
Good pass, too. I think that was Barfus who made the pass. And so the Knights finally get off 6 and have 7 now and get that little cushion back, 2-goal lead.
Yeah, hopefully they can use this as a turnaround, get a little excited, and keep the momentum going.
Always great, of course. In the background, you see some soccer going on. Always great to see the other sports practice while the other games are actually taking place. So Hardy with the draw here. She'll try to gain possession again, and the Knights would love to get all those goals back that Emmanuel just scored. They had 4 straight goals. Now the Knights have broken that Emmanuel 4-goal streak by scoring.
Yeah, it looks like McLean and Natalie have a nice, really nice thing going here for them, the two of them. McLean's doing a really good job of directing those draws right to her, and she's doing a beautiful job of running it right down there, down to our side of the field.
Yeah, good job, too, by Rice to gain possession. And now Barfus with it way outside.
Yeah, Megan was she was here. She wasn't here last year, but she came back and she's a great addition. She's got to be careful with those cradles, though. She does seem to kind of be cradling that on the outside and giving that defense an advantage to check that right out of her stick. Here's Lauren Thatcher with the ball. She's reading the field. She's got a great advantage point right here, though. She's going to take it right on the crease. She's wide open. I know she's waiting for that one-on-one. The team's really given her a great opportunity here.
And let's see if she uses the spin move.
Almost taken.
Nice pass.
Oh.
Barfus just couldn't get it.
Great defense here. Those 3-on-1 that really slowed that transition down and was letting.
Take away, too, by the Knights. Thatcher's got it.
You can tell Lauren really wants another one-on-one. She's kind of setting this up here that she might go for this.
And now it looks like Emmanuel almost went with the double team.
Shot to McLean and double teamed. She's going to bring that right back out. Bring that right back out.
Tough pass to make there.
Yeah. It's hard to make that decision of split second of is this a good pass or should I hold out?
Clear, too, by the goalkeeper.
Again, just a long midfield transition by Emmanuel. No passes, just one long run. So here's another one of those advantages of the rules. This defense is getting a chance to set up where they want to be by the time the ball gets back on the field. Back in the olden days, you had to be right where you were. No matter what, you couldn't set yourself up for a good position.
Yeah, it just seems a lot freer for the players these days with these rule changes. Of course, like I say, for the negative side of that, possibly, I don't know if the players really see as a negative, is just a lot of running, a lot of movement, less timeouts, less breaks in the action.
Yeah, that was a great pickup by Anna Walters, who was able to clear it right over to Magic, and she only had to run half field and then just one more pass.
Puts it over to Barfus, yeah.
And I think they're going to make her start over right where the foul happened. But that was a great transition on this view, starting with Anna Walters.
What will Megan Barfus do with it on the left side? She thought she saw an opening, took the shot. Magic Knowles with the follow. Magic Knowles coming out of nowhere to grab that missed shot by Barfus, and then she didn't waste any time firing that shot right past the goalkeeper to make it 8-5.
Yeah, this is another one of those great advantages of that team where you really don't know who is going to go for it. All these girls who are on offensive are capable of making a shot.
We've had, 4 or 5 different players scored today for the Knights, whereas in that opener against Marymount, the Knights only had 2 players score. So the Knights have jumped here 8-5, and I would imagine Emmanuel, after getting within 1, I would imagine they're talking about trying to keep it close before halftime.
Yeah, you really want to give yourself a fair shot coming in from the half once you've been able to rest your legs and come at it with a new angle. That really was a great shot by Magic. I think the team really needed this cushion, as you said before, to be able to feel a little bit more comfortable. And
well, we talked about how important possession is, and it just seemed like in that 4-goal run by Emmanuel that the Knights were not getting draws, and possession was really obviously being handled by Emmanuel, whereas in the last 2 goals, the Knights have done well in the draws, and they've been able to possess.
yeah, I remember timeouts used to be just a moment for us to kind of get a break because a lot of us were doing a lot of the running and there wasn't a lot of subs. But you'll see here that Nancy really gets to take these opportunities to really teach the team of how they're going to attack this next 3 minutes of the game.
So you see a player from last year, Claire Hoteling, down there as a coach. You going to coach anytime soon?
Yeah. Man, I'd love to, but they do have a full staff here.
Yeah.
It's just a fun program to be a part of. All these girls really do love Nancy. She does a good job of making you feel loved and appreciated while you're on the team.
And it's been tough. Again, year in, year out. Obviously, all sports have to go through the loss of players, seniors, done with their eligibility and all that. But last year's team was without Rainey Woodworth, and this year's team without yourself, Zoe Bradshaw, and Claire Hoteling, just to name a few.
Yeah, it really changed the team here, but I do have to give a shout out to Chelsea Whetstone. She was a big part of bringing in this team. She was a big part of the recruiting aspect of all these new freshmen that you're seeing here. That a lot of them have come out from the West Coast and they're here to play. Hopefully we'll see another really great connection here between McLean and Natalie. You see McLean looking over her shoulder, just checking to see where Natalie is, because she's going to get that ball right to Natalie, hopefully, if Natalie fights here. And
very close. Hardy's trying to pick it up now.
Oh, see, ground ball here it really is anyone's game.
Yeah, Emmanuel finally able to scoop it momentarily. Knights really hawking with that defense, though.
Yeah.
They're coming from all sides.
See, right here, she's got a breakaway. It looks like she might be able to get a shot on. Oh, but good call for Anna to get there in the last second.
A good collapsing defense by the Knights.
They're doing a really good job of standing their ground with Anna down there. She's a really strong defensive player. You have Lauren Thatcher, who honestly can run circles around these girls. She
had a nice pass there, but not able to be handled by Jarvis.
Mm-hmm.
Still, the Knights have it.
Barfus with one more, two.
Oh, great pass.
Wide open.
And that's King.
That was a beautiful play.
Hannah King with the assist by the Knights, and King breaking downfield, getting the pass.
That was a great example of how fast this sport really can be. Within a matter of seconds, you can get that ball from one end to the other and not even give that defense a chance.
Well, if you can possess it and avoid the turnovers, obviously team speed is going to be critical.
Definitely, and that's something that this team really does have to offer this year. You've got a lot of girls who are really fast.
Especially if the other team is maybe laboring with fatigue. So you're talking about conditioning and speed.
Yeah, it's one of the main points that Nancy's really good at, and making sure that all these girls are capable of running up and down the field nonstop.
Knights have now scored 3 straight goals to go back on top by 4. Their biggest lead's been 5.
It's definitely a push on Emmanuel so we're going to give the Knights the ball. A great connection between McLean and Natalie here. There's definitely a really cool partnership going on.
Now the Knights have a chance here with a goal to get that 5-goal lead back. That's been their biggest so far today.
Hopefully we see something really unique here. These girls know that they're in a good spot right here to do some really cool plays. And
nice pass by King to Barfus. It might have been a little behind her, not able to make the connection there.
That was a great clear by Emmanuel, but not quite taken up. Looks like she got the ground ball anyway.
It does look like their goalkeeper wants to go with long clears, at least whenever they're available.
It's kind of the risk you're going to take. If with the longer clears, it's not as accurate, but it does get the ball out of that 8. It does clear it and give you a second. Oh. Looks like that wasn't enough time for Maddie to get that second shot, but she did a good job of blocking that first one.
Yeah, I'm not sure she expected that second shot. Maybe she thought the player was going to go out a little further and set up the offense.
Yeah, it did come off really quick. It's kind of hard to put the blame on the goalie on that one when she didn't really get a second to reposition. That's kind of on the defense on that one.
You go back on the other end, the Knights had a chance to get it down low, but the pass was missed. Barf was not able to grab that pass, and then the other way, the Lions score. So instead of maybe a 10-5 game, it's 9-6.
Yeah, it's a quick game. It's when done right, those quick passes can be awesome. All right, here you'll see Southern Virginia's decided to put both of their players on McLean's left side. That's her strong side. That's where she's getting that ball to. So it's also bringing in another defender over there. But it's giving us another opportunity to pick up this ground ball.
Yeah,
like
Rice and Jarvis right there, and Rice grabs it. And you see she doesn't hesitate to sprint upfield.
Another one of the fast players on the team who's doing a great job of just settling this offense and giving us an opportunity to score again.
Clock becoming a factor as we get close to halftime. Knights on top here by 3. Hannah King with it.
Great
pass.
Great shot.
Score.
That was by McLean Hardy and Hannah King. That was great connection. That was a pass on the run.
How did she get that ball over to Hardy for the great pass by King?
Great pass. That's one of those things that you practice in all the time in practice, and once you can get that down, there's really no stopping any kind of plays like that.
And the Knights are able to score after the Emmanuel score, so with 61 seconds to go till halftime, the Knights have a chance here if they can get the draw to maybe equal that 5-goal lead. That's been their biggest so far. They've got a 4-goal lead right now.
Here you see him spreading the draw out a little bit. Again, maybe we'll see McLean kind of give that draw to herself. That's another tactic that we learn as girls who take the draw. You can either try to get that ball up in the air, and then it's a free fight just between you and the other girl. Or she'll try to give it to Natalie again.
Well, at that time, Emmanuel able to come away with it, and
She's
they're
coming
going
in
right
hot.
past
She's
the
gotta keep up with her.
defenders. Off to the left of the shot, though.
She did a good job of forcing what we call really ugly shot. She put her in a position where if she wanted to score, it wasn't really ideal for her.
And was it fair to say she took the defense totally off guard? They didn't expect her to break in like that?
No, she came in hot, but it caused them to kind of panic themselves and put her in a weird position too. McLean's got the ball right now. She's one of those girls who does stay pretty calm with the ball, and she gave a pass to Magic, who's able to run right through 2 defenders and score.
And Magic Knowles scores with just 23
Magic
seconds.
Knowles. She's got these crazy shots that just come right when you need it. She's able to make a shot out of not a whole lot of percentage.
And you wonder if Emmanuel was thinking they were going to try to wind the clock down a little bit further before they took the shot, although Magic Knowles just came in basically from the right side with hardly anybody stopping her.
Yeah. You see the ref here taking a look at her stick. It's one of those things that they do check after every single shot. She might have something that's be a little bit questionable here, and so he might be calling her out on something. We'll see if this goal counts.
Looks like it's going to make it 11-6, and that equals the biggest lead. The Knights still have 23 seconds to score again. We'll see if they can get the draw and go downfield.
In Lacrosse, hey, that's plenty of time. Oh, draw picked up by Emmanuel, and she's going to book it right across half field.
Knights really have to play some good defense here and not allow a goal.
This is one of those moments where it feels like you don't have a whole lot of time, but still a whole lot you can do with 10 seconds in the game. And this time's still running for Emmanuel.
And that's going to do it for the first half, as the Knights are going to take an 11-6 lead. So kind of a game of runs there, Emily. The Lions scored first to make it 1-0. The Knights jumped on top with 6 straight goals. Emmanuel came back to make it 6-5, and the Knights have battled all the way to an 11-6 lead here at halftime.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. You can tell they're well conditioned. They've been able to keep the ball on their position more than they have had to play defense.
And your halftime score here from the fields at Southern Virginia University is the Knights on top of Emmanuel 11-6. We'll take a break here at halftime with the Knights leading 11-6. Welcome back to Southern Virginia University, ready for the second half of this women's lacrosse game between Southern Virginia University and Emmanuel College. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined by Emily Winslow, and bringing you all the action tonight with the Knights leading as we get second half play underway, leading here 11-6 over Emmanuel. The Knights able to close that first half, Emily, on a good way after the Lions of Emmanuel had gotten within 6-5. The Knights were able to outscore them down the stretch 5-1, so they had a good 6-1 stretch after the opening minutes of the first half, and then closed this first half with a 5-1 run.
Hopefully they've learned not to underestimate Emmanuel, but they have put themselves in a really awesome situation here where they can feel pretty confident moving forward that they can keep this lead.
And when the Knights were really doing well in the first half, it was because they were winning draws. That time the Lions were able to pick up the ball after the draw.
You can tell that the Lions have taken advantage of this fact that McLean gives that draw to that left side. If they just know to keep their best position, their best girl who can pick up a ground ball right over there, they're picking up these draws, which is half the game.
And Emmanuel working towards the middle. Nice play there by the Knights defense to keep that away from the goal.
Great defense. You can see the shot clock starting over again for them.
Shot clock, obviously, 90 seconds does not usually come into play. About the only time I would imagine it would come into play, Emily, is when you're trying to obviously protect the lead and basically kind of a delay game type of situation.
Great save by Lacrosse. Yeah, so the shot clock is a new element to the game this year, but really what they're learning is it's not affecting too much of the game, but what it is affecting is those teams that graciously, I guess I should give you a stall,
Yeah.
is how I'll put it. When you're playing against these teams where clearly the lead is
Yeah, let's say Southern Virginia maybe is surprising Salisbury, and they're ahead 10-8 with 10 minutes to go, and they would really like just to sit on the ball if possible and sit on a 2-goal lead. And obviously with that shot clock, you can't do that.
correct. Yeah, and also it stops a team who's being nice to you really and
Right.
deciding not to score. That was a great pass by Emmanuel right through the middle, and that defense, our defense, really was not able to get there fast enough.
And that spin move by Marginach, it looked like the Knights were coming from that side, just got there late. She spun from right to left.
This is what I mean about not underestimating Emmanuel. They're small in numbers, but these girls are here to fight, and we can't just give up here and think that because we got a bigger, faster team this year that this win's gonna stay easy the whole time. There's McLean again, comforting and giving advice to the team. It's a great team this year. They've got a lot of really smart and passionate captains. All right, you got Natalie Rice this time going to McLean's back left shoulder. She might be trying to do something a little different here. Hopefully they can get this ball to themselves.
She tried to get it over, looks like, to Jarvis, and did.
Great pickup by Jarvis. Great eye. We've got, believe.
Almost lost it. Looks like the Knights are going to have it.
Yeah, looks like Holly had a couple chances there, and luckily we still were able to recover it.
And now King over on the right side gets it over to the middle.
Great catch by Lauren Thatcher. She's one of those girls that can just pick up that ball from no matter where you throw it to her at. It looks like Remy's open. Good thing Magic was there. Good backup.
That was a tough pass to really squeeze through
Magic's
the defense.
going for it. Magic's going for it. Oh, hit your own teammate with that back end of the
It's
shot.
Jarvis, but she was able to control it. Good move there.
And looks like
Nice
Emmanuel
shot by Rice.
got a piece of that ball before it left her stick.
Looked like for a split second that Rice's move was going to get her a great look at a goal. Another kind of a long clear by Emmanuel.
Yeah, they do a great job of just getting that ball out of that sphere so that goalie has nothing to worry about anymore.
And Emmanuel's done pretty well. Once they've scored a goal, they seem to go on a little bit of a run here and there. See if the Knights can stop them this time defensively.
Great defense by Holly. She's clearly smaller than her her player there, but she's doing what we call playing big. You just play big and you pretend like you don't even notice the size difference there.
Nice pass in the middle.
Great save by Krause.
Yeah, Krause stopping that shot as Freese was wide open in the middle.
You know, we got to give a lot of credit to Krause. Last year was her first year ever picking up a lacrosse stick. And here she is starting and staying in most of the games. She's come a long way.
Have you ever played goal, by the way, goalkeeper?
Once. It was not pretty. It's not really a position I was meant to be.
What's it take to really be a good goalkeeper? What are some of the factors?
You know, it's really it's going against your natural instinct. You have something flying at you, and you have to want to go towards it. You kind of have to go against what you're feeling. And a really big element about being a great goalie is directing your defense. You know, when you play these really good teams, you'll see that the goalie is the one who is in charge of the defensive players right there, because she can see more of the field than you can, and she's able to direct you. In that respect,
is it somewhat similar to the soccer goalkeepers directing their defense?
Definitely, yeah. They're kind of should be the heads in charge of defense, and it looks like Emmanuel got that ground ball, and she's just going to run that all the way down in, even though she's got 2 girls on her.
5 total back there defensively.
Great defense. Might have been a push. They are going to call it a push in the 8, which means she does get a free possession here. There's a lot of pressure right here on Maddie Dibble. You see her number 14. She's on her own trying to stop this clock.
Well, pass towards the middle, but it was mishandled by Freese, number 9.
Luckily, that was missed. That would have been wide open.
Would have given Emmanuel a chance to maybe cut the deficit down to 3, but they still trail by 4.
And Natalie Rice, again with this pickup, she is killing it on ground balls, and she is fast. None of these girls can keep up with her. And she is another one of those players that's just fun to watch. She's really talented.
Over to Barfus now.
Looks like they're settling here. This is what we call settling. They're just going to take it at the top, and everyone's kind of standing still until something's called, whether they're all going to go for it and give her a one-on-one, or everyone's going to try to get open here. It looks like it's going to be a one-on-one, and in between the legs. Oh, I thought that was in.
Yeah, it did look like it.
That was close.
But apparently it must have gone off the goalkeeper.
Once again, great clear by Emmanuel. I mean, clear on the other side. That's almost out of bounds.
Yeah, trying to keep it inbounds and away from the other team. The goalkeeper for Emmanuel has done a pretty good job. The clears and a goal scored by Emmanuel. They have scored 2 straight goals now, and have gone from 11-6 down to 11-8. They trailed at one point in the first half 6-1. I believe scored 4 in a row, and they've started the second half scoring a couple of goals to make it 11-8 now.
I believe that was number 10, Tara Larson. Trying to get that jersey number. She is clearly one of their strongest players. I've seen her with the ball majority of the time on offense for them. She's definitely one of the girls that we've got to learn to stop and stop her breakaways.
That long clear, though, again by the goalkeeper for Emmanuel, has really worked out well for them at times today.
It's a big advantage to be able to get that ball all the way down on the other side of the field.
Well, the Knights will try to win this draw so they can stop this scoring streak by Emmanuel. They've scored 2 in a row to close from 5 down, now just within 3. That time,
McLean,
already able to get it herself.
Very clean. That was a beautiful draw to be able to give that to yourself.
And you mentioned that sometimes she prefers to do that.
Yeah, it's one of the advantages that you want to try to be able to be good at as someone who does take the draws. But it's an element of being able to fight against your own defender who's right up there with you at the draws.
This is Jarvis with it. Knights really could use a goal here after Emmanuel's gotten to within 3. And Magic Knowles, who's been on fire here lately in the first half, scoring a number of goals. Good move there.
Great pivot. She wants it. You can tell she wants to go in for it.
Keeps drawing the double team, though.
The flag is drawn. It looks like Magic is going to get a free possession shot here. She's got a great shot.
Was that because of the contact?
Yes, so they would have let that play on in case Magic did score, then they would have forgotten about it. But because that opportunity was lost, it means that she does get a chance to score here.
Let's see if she takes the shot or passes to a teammate. Fires the shot,
Oh.
fires low.
That's all right. Picked up by Southern Virginia again. Megan Barfus trying to get that into Remy, but it looks like ball's going to be picked up by Emmanuel here.
Yeah, we talked about the goalkeepers needing to communicate with their defense, and I would imagine, again, you've got goalkeepers that are kind of low-key and some that are exactly the opposite direction.
Yeah, they really do make a big difference. Looking like Lauren Thatcher wasn't able to really keep up with her, but I'm proven wrong. Look at her just being able to get right back up right in front of her.
And now Emmanuel's got a chance to cut this lead for the Knights down to 2. They have scored 2 straight goals, trying to make it 3 in a row.
Great defense by Ashley Lessing right there.
Lawson with the shot again. You mentioned her. Tara Lawson, the senior, the 5'5" senior out of St. Augustine, Florida.
She's an aggressive player. She's really aggressive out there, and sometimes that's just what it takes, is to not be afraid to just go right through some sticks and just get that shot in on your own.
So that is 3 straight goals by Emmanuel. They trailed at halftime 11-6, and now the Knights have seen that 5-goal lead go all the way down to 2. Their biggest lead, I believe, tonight has been 5. Knights could really use a goal after this little break in the action here, Emily. The Knights have seen their lead shaved all the way down to 2 now here in the second half.
Yeah, they're probably starting to sweat here a little bit. It's one of those things where you really can't, I'm repeating myself, but you really can't get too confident when you think you have a lead, because anything can happen in this sport. It's a fast sport, and one mistake can be detrimental.
Unlike the 20-4 loss to Marymount, where the Knights really went with 2 goalkeepers using Jaster and also Kraus, they've gone with Kraus the entire way today, and she's made some good stops.
She really is. She's doing a great job. You know, she knows she's probably not that goalie that can give a clear half field, but she does a really good job of waiting for a good opportunity to pass someone who we do trust, someone who she can trust to run it up.
You can see Emmanuel doesn't have the numbers that the Knights do depth-wise, but right now they are on a 3-goal run, and they look pretty fired up.
Yeah, it's not stopping them from coming to fight. Our defense really is going to have to learn how to stop that number 10, Tara, and offense is just going to have to learn to make smarter shots. We've had a couple shots on goal, but they're just, sometimes it goes to waste if you're just not placing that in right.
And winning the draw is so important, so we'll see if the Knights can win this draw. They do not want to have Emmanuel score again and cut the lead all the way down to 1. Back in the first half, the Knights had a 6-1 lead, and they saw that lead go all the way down to 1 at 6-5 before they built it back up at 11-6 at halftime.
Yeah, they've proven that they can surprise us all.
And Hardy will take the draw here. We'll see what she decides to do with it. Last time, she basically got it to herself.
Yeah, she's got a great partnership here going on with Natalie Rice. They're both, you know, good fighters. And that's what it takes to win the possession here in these draw situations.
What's the more important thing for the draw? Is it strength or speed?
You know, it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. You know, when I did draws, one of my main objectives was placement. But some girls who are stronger than me or are able to, you know, fight harder, they want to get it to themselves because they're able to depend on themselves. So really strength is great if you're trying to get it to yourself and you're able to overcome your opponent. But another really good element that a lot of people underestimate is great placement, getting that to that player on the circle that you want it to go to.
This is Marginich with it after being pushed from behind by Rice. See if she takes the shot here.
Great save.
Oh, Kraus, what a save.
Yeah, she really attacked that. she's really looking a lot better this year. I do have to say, Kraus is not afraid to just attack that ball, and she's
good clear too.
She's not afraid. There's a great clear. Right here, as we were talking about, Emmanuel's got these long clears, and
all the way to Dibble, and now Thatcher trying to get the corner.
She wants it.
Fires
Great
and scores.
shot.
That was an important goal.
That was a left-handed shot. Not a lot of people can appreciate that unless you really understand how hard it is to switch hands and still place that shot with your non-dominant hand.
And all that happened again with the long clear and then the pass from Dibble over to Thatcher. So all that happened with just a couple of passes and very, very quickly.
It's a very, very fast sport, especially with these new rules. There's nothing stopping you if you get a breakaway like that.
And so the Knights get a really important goal that stops that 3-goal scoring streak that Emmanuel had going on, and then now the Knights have a 3-goal lead with just over 22 minutes left in the second half.
Yeah, that was a great demonstration of Lauren Thatcher's ability. Last year she was injured for a good portion of the season, and it's really, really great to see her being able to take advantage and be a big part of the team this year. McLean right to Natalie once again, but was not able to pick it up.
Rice had a chance at it, but couldn't scoop it up. So Emmanuel's got it.
Yeah, I don't quite know what the call was on that one, but they're going to give possession right over to Emmanuel. Once again, Tara's got the ball, and they just have got to learn to stop this girl.
Tara Larson, the senior out of Florida.
Well, they're going to put 4 on her, and she still goes
Almost
through
5.
them all.
Wow.
This girl is aggressive. Oh.
She ran into King. There was a
Yeah.
lot of contact there, but
They're going to give the ball to Southern Virginia, and rightfully so. I mean, she was pretty aggressive there when she lost that ball. That's the
I'm
kind of
guessing
dangerous.
a situation like that, it's up to the referee to decide who initiated the contact.
Correct. When you see him stop like that, it's because they really had to wait for the ref to tell him. That was a check from behind, but I'm shocked that they're going to let that keep going. And they're going to call McLean on that check, even though it seemed like she was kind of getting a little bit back on that, a little bit of revenge on that check from behind.
These kind of calls, Emily, I mean, I'm thinking like any sport, the players out there want consistency from the referees.
Yeah, correct. It's a big disadvantage, a turnover like that. It's a big deal. It's a part of the game.
And Barfus got it. Good pass,
Wide
wide
open.
open.
Oh.
Magic Knowles couldn't
A
control
little
it.
early.
Got it back though.
Oh,
Off the side, it looked like. Boy, that was one of the best opportunities of the night if Magic Knowles had been able to control that pass.
it was a little rushed on Magic's part, but great idea. Looks like this girl's gone through 4
And a steal by the
defenders.
Knights.
There it is. Great check. That's where we were talking about earlier is one of the contacts that is allowed in women's lacrosse is checks, which is just basically stick on stick, and that's where you can get that possession right back if they're really lazy about that cradle. That's Holly staying right there with her. Girl down, but the game's going on.
Knights had a chance if Magic Knowles is able to control that pass to jump their lead to 4, and now unable to do so. And here's Emmanuel with a chance to cut it to 2.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on defense right here. This possession really can change the game. They would only be down by 2. Defense by Ashley Lessing deciding to play up on the 12. Usually we tell defense to stay on the 8 and let them come to you, but if you're feeling confident enough to meet them up at the 12 meter, that can be just as intimidating. Great defense by McLean. He's keeping her out of that 8 and just looks like they're able to keep them out.
Short got across, but not able to find an opening, so she backs it out. Pass it in the middle, wide open, and a goal for Emmanuel. That was Hernandez, number 3, scoring. And how did she get so wide open?
I'm looking at it. Looks like it might have been Holly who was marked up on her. And if you just lose your girl for 1 second, or if she gets any opportunity to walk across your back, then she's wide open.
Nothing Kraus could really do about that.
No, a lot of these opportunities are by default on the defense.
So now 12-10. Emmanuel is back within 2. Still over 19 minutes to go here in the second half. So even though the Knights have that 2-goal lead, and they'd rather have the 2-goal lead than be down by 2, but really this is anybody's game right now.
Yeah, the Knights really got to step it up and give them more opportunities to shoot. They're keeping McLean in on the draw. And if you'll watch these girls here on the circle, they're going to fight because they know right where that ball's going.
Hardy trying to grab it herself.
Great fight by McLean, but just not quite. Oh, they are going to give her the possession. It looked like there might have been an empty stick check. That's when you check the stick without the ball in the stick.
Quickly gets it upfield to Barfus now with it. Thatcher's wide open down there. Didn't see her, I don't think. Barfus going all the way.
And there's the shot. Great shot by Megan Barfus.
And that was another important goal for the Knights to take that 3-goal lead back.
Yeah, that was a great shot on Megan's part. She saw that right-handed goalie and was able to get the ball right on that left side.
Knights have really spread the scoring around today. Magic Knowles has several goals. Now Barfus has several goals. Thatcher as well. And, of course, also Hannah King.
Yeah, great versatility on the team here. Megan Barfus was a girl who did have a knee injury in her first years here at Southern Virginia University, but overcame it, was able to go through rehab, and you can see here that it hasn't stopped her. She's
got good speed out there.
She does. She's looking really good. We're really happy to have her back this year.
So the Knights with that 3-goal lead back, just over 19 minutes left.
McLean still pulling to that same side, and there it is. That's the chemistry that we've been waiting for. Natalie able to pick that up and just run it right downfield.
Yeah, Hannah King with it. King getting it down low. Try to get it over to Jarvis.
That's one of those scary moments where you have to really decide if that pass was worth it, because a turnover is always possible.
Well, tough to make that pass when you got 2 or 3 defenders, and even if that pass gets through, the player receiving the pass is going to have a couple of defenders all around them.
Yeah, it's a tricky call to make. Megan staying with her girl. She's doing a great job. Again, they're having to mark up here because they've got 2 on the ball, which means one girl is open.
And Emmanuel scores again.
That was a shot from clear at the top of the 8. That's hard to let that go through as a defense.
It's kind of a spin move to get away from 2 defenders, and I'm not sure Krause was expecting that shot from that far out, but not able to stop it, and now it's 13-11. So every time the Knights look like they're trying to pull away a little bit, Emmanuel comes right back to close the gap, and in this case down to 2.
It's pretty scary when you consider how high we've had a lead at this game.
Emmanuel's only led 1 time. They scored the first goal of the game. That was a 1-0 lead. And they have battled back from down by as much as 5, now down by 2.
Yeah, you'll notice a lot of Emmanuel's shots aren't happening because they're on offense for a very long time. A lot of these shots are just happening on these breakaway opportunities.
Kind of almost like they're trying to conserve energy by scoring as quickly and as easily as possible.
Well, and it gives them another chance to score again. Oh, she kind of ran into those team players, so they're going to let that ball keep going. Great look on a pass there to get that over those defensive players, and she's going to look one more time, and that's just how you get it right past all those defenders and all that cluttered mess.
And Thatcher's got it up the right side right now trying the middle.
They really need a shoot right here. They really need a goal to help really turn the game around here.
Pretty even on the scoreboard, as you see, as far as the shots on goal.
Yeah, it's showing the caliber of our goalie. She's doing a great job.
See if Thatcher tries to go one-on-one.
Looks like they're going to call 3 seconds on the girl who is down at the bottom watching Magic. That's one of those tricky spots where you're turned around, and so it's hard to watch where your feet placement are. Lauren Thatcher has a great shot right here. I have a lot of confidence that she's going to be able to get this one in.
See if she takes the shot. She does. It went off to the right, though.
Looks like they're... Oh, I thought they were going to give that to Emmanuel. Looks like Southern Virginia was there just in time.
Barfus has it behind. Loops that pass out towards
that would have been
Jarvis.
great. It's a great idea, but probably not the smartest thing to do when there's too many people cluttered in the middle right there.
And an important ground ball here picked up by Emmanuel. If they score, they're only down by 1.
Great job, Lauren Thatcher, staying with her. Defense is doing a really good job of keeping that pressure midfield, forcing them to take their time to get in.
So the Knights defensively needing another big stop here with the lead all the way down to 2. I don't know if it's a team thing for Emmanuel if they decide just to basically take a little bit of a break, but they score another goal. That one by Hannah Hernandez. Let's see if they call it a goal.
They're going to call it a push after the goal, I believe, which means it's an automatic possession at the draw here.
And it would be 13-12 now.
I could be wrong on that.
Emmanuel has come from 5 down here in the second half to close now to within 1.
Scary position for the Knights. They came out pretty strong, and it's almost like if you blink too hard, these girls are gonna fight back. So yeah, you can see here the ball is going to start with Emmanuel.
And they've got a chance suddenly to tie things at 13 if they can score again.
This is a big deal here. This is a chance for Emmanuel to tie this up. They get an automatic possession, and all they've got to do is just run this ball down in and score. Great defense.
Emmanuel's got 30 on the possession clock.
They get a brand new 90 seconds, though. They did bring it down.
They did. So they got plenty of time to look for a shot here.
So a lot of pressure on the defense. This is going to determine how the rest of the game is going to be fought.
Good pass towards the middle.
Way
Great
to force
defense
that
by the
ugly
Knights.
shot. Yeah.
But the ball scooped up still by Emmanuel.
Great check.
Hannah King had the check.
Are going to call it check to the head, though.
Mm.
It wasn't in the 8, so it shouldn't be a free possession. Oh, looks like they are going to give her a free possession.
See if
Did
they
not
take
look
the
like
shot
that was
here.
in the 8 to me. A lot of pressure on McLean here.
And it's tied at 13.
Oh, boy.
Emmanuel has outscored the Knights here in this second half, I believe 7-2. The Knights had 11 goals at halftime, only 2 so far here in the second half. And the Lions have come all the way back from 5 goal deficits at 1.6-1 earlier, and then 11-6 at halftime.
Wow, I was not expecting this coming in from this half. I really thought that they had this game in the bag. Looks like we're going to have to really fight right here. We're going to have to own our possessions and make smarter shots.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to a lot of these draws now in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm shocked they haven't been mixing it up at all, putting Anna back in on the draw, because it seems that, honestly, it really does seem that Emmanuel is taking advantage of McLean's left lower shoulder. They know that's exactly where that ball's
That's
going.
number 10, Larson, coming right down.
In between 3 girls and makes a shot.
Kraus able to make the save. Looks like the Knights are going to have it.
It might have been a little bit of a too aggressive on Emmanuel's part, pushing through all those girls. So it looks like they are going to give the ball to SV at the top of the 8. Holly's going to run that ball down. She should be looking to make a pass here because She's got two pretty strong defenders right on her. Smart move to give that ball to Lauren Thatcher. She really knows how to get out of a sticky situation.
She has to make sure and doesn't get it poked away from behind. Gets it upfield, but it's a tough pass to make. Knights still have it. That's Magic Knowles with it.
Looks like they're not going to waste any time.
Over to
now
Rice.
Rice is going.
Ooh, just off to the left.
A little bit of a pressured shot there. Probably should have taken her time, but good idea.
Knights still have it.
Right into McLean and right in her stick. Although she was able to get the ball right back, so we're going to restart here.
Hardy
Ah,
tried to go low, went off to the right.
you got to appreciate the determination here. I feel like McLean really is fighting. She's not giving up. She's one of the leaders on the team, and she's definitely got a lot of fight in her.
Critical time right now as to who's going to score their 14th goal first. Will it be Emmanuel or maybe the Knights? Thatcher with it. Trying to make a move.
Great fake on Thatcher's part.
Fell down.
Great pickup by Remy.
Jarvis with it right now.
That was a great try on Lauren Thatcher's part. Hopefully she is able to give that another retry.
And what will Rice do? She's got it right now, looking for a teammate maybe.
Emmanuel's doing a really good job just getting in the way. They're having a hard time breaking these defensive barriers here.
Jarvis now with it. Good spin move. Drew a defender.
Shocked
Gets
that
it over
wasn't
to
a
Rice.
shooting space, to be honest with you, but they're going to let them play on.
A lot of contact out there. Rice
And
gets it over
Oh,
to Barfus.
man on. A little bit of a rush. Oh,
Magic Knowles trying to swat that in from the goalkeeper. But Machado was able to out-duel her for the ball, and now it is a manual ball.
McLean doing a great job of keeping up with her and stopping her. They're going to call a push on her, which is going to give her the advantage to just keep going.
Pass
Great
towards the middle.
pass and catch by Emmanuel, but unlucky shot. Lucky for us, I guess.
Yeah, both teams are trying to grab possession right now.
See, right here's one of those moments where you can see the defense is getting a chance to set up even though a call was made. It gives us the advantage, honestly, even though we fouled, the girl on Emmanuel.
That's another nature, I guess, of element of that rule change.
Yeah, it's very true. Being down here on defense, if you do foul a girl, it gives your team a chance to reposition themselves and move.
Emmanuel's taking a little bit of a breather here, trying to go on top for the first time since the opening minutes.
I do have to say that is a double team gone wrong. That is probably one of the worst case scenarios where you put two girls on someone and both girls look away just for a second. And once she gets past two girls, that left two open and her open between the goal.
And Emmanuel's got their first lead at 14-13 since it was 1-0 at the very beginning of the game. Knights led at halftime 11-6, and by my count, they've been outscored here in the second half now 8-2. So a great comeback by Emmanuel, but plenty of time for the Knights. Still over 11 minutes to go. But right now, Emily, they're going to have to start winning some draws.
Possession is half the game here. I almost want to say they really just need to mix something up here. Emmanuel's taking advantage of McLean's style.
And Hardy is out there for the draw. They position King over to her left.
I think McLean would do good here to try to get it somewhere else.
Emmanuel wins the draw.
Oh, great.
Momentarily, King trying to swat it away, and looks like it's going to be Lions' ball.
It's one of those times where being a little too aggressive is really a disadvantage for your team because we would have had that ball, but McLean played a little too hard and caused that turnover.
Well, the Knights aren't in panic mode by any stretch, but once you get down maybe to the 5-minute mark, especially if you're down by 1 or 2, might be a different story.
I do have to say that's another example of a double team gone wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about these double teams, but it's almost causing them to back out and not play as hard because there's two playing on one. When
Especially,
in reality, it should be the other way
it
around.
seems like they get the double team, Emily, and then they go to the spin move, and the double team, when the spin move is going on, that's when they seem to drop off a little bit.
Yeah, the double team is really only effective if both girls on the double team are just as fast. If one girl on a double team is slower than the other, she actually picks off her own teammate.
Right.
And that's where it's kind of scary odds.
So that is 9 second-half goals compared to 2 for the Knights. 9 second-half goals by Emmanuel, and suddenly they've got their biggest lead of the game at 15-13.
Really hoping they mix something up here. It looks like Magic is going to take the draw. Magic is a great player who can really get that ball to herself. She's a good fighter who can get the ball up in the air, and she's tall, which means she has the advantage of getting the ball before the girl even has a chance.
And the Knights really need to win this draw and score a goal.
Magic's going to fight here. Oh, and swat it, which still gives Emmanuel. Nope. Unless Ashley can pick up this ground ball.
Both teams want this ground ball right now with a 2-goal game.
Ashley looks like she got a little aggressive and pushed right there. But they are going to give Emmanuel the ball.
And now if you're Emmanuel, and maybe it just varies team to team, Emily, but especially if you got the lead and we get deeper and deeper into the second half, when do you start really using as much of the 90-second possession clock as possible, just kind of going around the perimeter, not really thinking shot, just trying to run a little clock?
I think it really depends on your faith on your own team. If you really feel like if given the chance, if Southern Virginia got the ball, that they would score, then yeah, I think you'd really take that shot clock to your advantage.
Closing in on the 10-minute mark, 15-13. Knights trailing by 2 for the first time in the game.
Looks like she lost her stick, but they're not going to call anything on it. She looks like she is still hurt back there. Natalie Rice, something happened. She's going to put herself off the field, and they're going to let the game keep going.
Dibble also went down to the turf. And it looks like Emmanuel wants to go on offense again here, trying to add to a 2-goal lead.
Oh.
Kraus with a save, but the ball goes right to a Lion.
That was
so
a very
Emmanuel
lucky
still
save.
got it.
We have been man down while they made that substitution, but it looks like Natalie Rice was able to make it back in time. Don't know what this one is for, but it looks like they're going to give Emmanuel a free position, and Southern Virginia is going to position themselves on both those hash marks.
This is Colleen Malone, number 20 with the ball, decides not to take the shot, backs it out. Not sure if this is a case by Emmanuel running a little clock here, maybe?
Or maybe they just know she wasn't one of their stronger shooters, and knowing how crucial it is to actually make a shot here.
And with a 2-goal lead, maybe running a little time off the clock before they take a look at the goal.
Yeah, this really is to Southern Virginia's disadvantage. They want to get this turnover as fast as possible to be able to make up for the deficit.
And a goal instead for Emmanuel, and suddenly the Lions have jumped on top now by 3. They trailed by 5 at halftime, but now they have 10 second-half goals. 10-2 in the second half. They've gone from 5 down to 3 up.
You really got to give it to him. Emmanuel's not afraid to shoot from far away and fast. They've got some fast shots where we tend to take our time and do a little bit more of the trick shots.
Knights at one point in this game, especially when you go back to the first half, they were dominating. They were dominating at a 6-1 lead, and then they pulled away at halftime to go on top again by 5, 11-6. But completely different story so far here in the second half.
They do have a little bit of time here. I mean, 8 minutes is enough time for Southern Virginia to fix this and to still come out on top.
How important is it? Almost critical to win this draw and score within the next minute or so?
Absolutely. If not for morale of the team, I think you can kind of see the teams giving up a little bit here, and they really are needing this.
Yeah,
they
the Knights are going to
give
have
the
it.
draw to McLean. She does have to start at the center, so they're going to make a restart. Looks like we might have had an early start on the draw there, which gives McLean the advantage.
So we'll see if the Knights can take advantage, because now down by 3, they almost, not sure if this is an absolute must possession to score a goal, But the Knights really do need a goal right now, down by 3.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment. It's looking like they're letting a lot of checks just go. You know, they used to call every check, but it looks like they're going to let the game keep going. Oh.
Almost went through.
I think that was a pass that wasn't intended to be a shot.
It was a pass for Hardy that was a missed pass, and it almost ended up being the goal.
By Barfus. That was really crucial. That's one of those fundamentals where it's just passing that it kind of hurts to lose a possession on.
And now Emmanuel is trying to work it upfield. Knights are trying to grab the loose ball.
Great job by Ashley. She is a fighter. I mean, when she gets down to it, there's nothing that can stop her from trying to get that ground ball.
They're going to say it's going to be Lions possession.
Yeah, we do this thing called man ball where you try to go for the ground ball, but instead you go to block the girl so that another girl on your team can get it. But they are going to call that on Ashley. She is playing really aggressive right now. It's hard not to when you're pretty scared of the situation that's going on in the team right now, but you've got to remember to maintain control of your body and of your checks.
And still 7 minutes to go, but I would imagine from a comeback standpoint, the Knights cannot afford to allow a goal here. Down by 4 with maybe 6 minutes to go at that point. That would be a tough deficit to overcome.
Yeah, they're definitely taking advantage of the shot clock right here. They are not looking to score anytime soon. And this is where, you know, it's up to Nancy. She might call a double team, which is when you go and double team and force them to shoot, which hopefully causes them to make a mistake instead of making a goal. But it's the risk you got to take.
This is Larson. She fought through 2 or 3 defenders to get close.
You can see the frustration of the girls right now on the field. They're not liking these calls that these refs are making, and it's causing them to keep their heads down.
Let's see if Larson takes the shot here. She's been one of the better players.
Great job by Maddie Krause.
That was a crucial save there by Krause.
You're like, okay, great, clear. Missed opportunity, but it's going to get picked up by Hannah, so we're okay.
And the Knights, I would imagine this trip down has got to be they really need a goal now. Down by 3.
Yeah, this is crucial. They need to play smart here. They need to not play rushed, because when you play rushed is when you play a lot of mistakes. That was a push from behind, definitely. They're going to give Hannah or Holly the ball. Oh, they're going to give her a yellow card. This is where we need to take advantage of this opportunity. They are man down, which means we should be able to make a shot on this if we play smart.
And the Knights running out of time, just a few seconds away from going under the 6-minute mark, and the Knights need 3 goals to catch up and tie.
They really better take advantage of this opportunity here. You can see a lot of girls standing still, almost not used to the new rules change.
Puts it over to Thatcher. Surveys the field, looking for her best opening. We'll see if she goes one-on-one and takes it herself. No, tries to pass it to a teammate over to Hardy. Not able to get that pass through, though.
Knowing that someone is wide open means they need to not do a one-on-one and really try to pass it in. That was a...
Tried to get it to King, but she couldn't control it in front of the goal.
Oh, this is not looking good for the Knights. This was a chance for them to be man up, and there's only a few more seconds until the next Emmanuel girl is going to be able to get on the field.
Sure, the Knights had 11 goals in the first half, just 2 so far here in the second half.
Great defense, great fight here.
Loose ball picked up by the Lions.
These girls are fast through their ground balls and on the draws. You do have to give it to them.
If they're going to really try to work the clock again, or if they're going to come right at the goal.
Great defense by Ashley here. But she did just get one roll in and a behind.
Oh, what a shot.
Oh, that's hard as a goalie.
Especially at that particular angle. Very tough for Krause to stop that one, especially coming from the blind side. And it's 17-13, and now the Knights are going to have to score 4 goals to tie in less than 5 minutes.
Still definitely possible. I'm hoping they keep their heads up at this point. I mean, they've made more goals in this amount of time before.
Well, we talked about it being a close game. It was 11-6 at halftime, but it's been 11-2 Emmanuel here in the second half. And the Knights, after scoring 11 goals, Emily, in that first half, just really have not been able to get the offense going here in the second half.
Yeah, they're making some rush decisions. Honestly, they're making some really rush decisions when it comes to offense. They're trying to just force these not very well thought out shots on goal, and their goalie's seeing right through it.
And you can see Machado, the goalkeeper, getting a lot of congratulations. Emmanuel looking very confident in their huddle right now, even though there's still 4:52 to go.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, I hate to say it, I don't really know if it's an amazing job on their goalie part or if it's really dumb shots on our part. But they really can do this. They have the potential of making beautiful, clean shots. They just have to get out of their own heads.
You know, at one point in the first half, the Knights had scored 6 straight goals and had a 6-1 lead, and they were looking like they were going to kind of blow things open here. And
I really thought this was going to be an easy game. It really should be an easy game. We have a lot of talent here, but it looks like we're not really taking advantage of the versatility of this team. We're kind of sticking to the same things and the same people going in for the same.
Well, in the first
kind of
half,
shots.
the Knights were winning a lot of draws, didn't have too many turnovers, got a lot of ground balls, and again had that 5-goal lead at halftime, but it's been a completely different story here in the second half.
Yeah, they really can do this. This is a strong team, and I've seen a lot of situations where we have come from a deficit like this.
Well, for that to happen, I guess you're going to have to win almost every draw or get some turnovers, obviously, on the part of Emmanuel.
Mm-hmm.
And if Emmanuel wins it and doesn't have a turnover, I would imagine, even with a 4-goal lead, that they'll, again, look to maybe take a little time off the clock every time down.
Yeah, most definitely.
So the Knights really need to win these draws in the final 5 minutes.
This is that moment where you're really just trying to keep the team's momentum up. You really don't want girls to start getting down. This is when you need the most energy.
And the Knights will be in action Friday at Greensboro on the road, and then next Tuesday they'll be at home against Ferrum College next Tuesday at 4 o'clock before they have their next Capital Conference game on March the 10th, a Saturday, against Mary Washington. See King over on the left and Rice to the right.
McLean looking over his shoulder, looking to give that right to her back left, and
King battling for it, as is Hardy.
still picked up by Emmanuel.
Still debating who's going to get that ball.
Nice fight, but still picked up by Emmanuel. That's amazing that they were able to keep picking up those ground balls.
And now they're going to try to work the clock a little bit.
Great defense here by Remy. She is not afraid to stay aggressive and right on her. She is pressuring her. It's one of the things about pressuring defense is if you can pressure defense, but if the next girl doesn't pressure, all your effort kind of goes to waste.
And for the Knights, they're going to have to really get aggressive and come after the ball. And what that'll do is obviously leave maybe an opening towards the middle for another goal. But
or a mistake like right
yep.
there. They really need to fight for these. Right there you see Hannah should have tried to get in there.
Almost a steal by King, but couldn't get there in time. Knights are really coming after the ball, but Emmanuel's trying to work it around, work this clock a little bit. They've already taken 45 seconds off the possession clock.
Yeah, they're really trying hard here to force a mistake. And they did. The ball's given to Lauren Thatcher, and she's definitely one who can run this ball right down the field.
Yeah, right now the Knights have to score on this time down by 4 goals. Now Barfus with it.
Was a little aggressive. I don't know if you call that a push or a charge. Looks like they are going to call it a push.
Gives Barfus the opportunity here.
See, right here is one of those times where do you pass it to Lauren Thatcher to bring it in, who seems wide open there at the bottom, or you take it yourself?
Barfus going to take the shot. Never really got it off.
At least she remained possession and shot by Michaela Knowles.
Magic Knowles with the goal, and that was a great pass by Barfus.
Definitely needed this.
So it's 17-14. The Knights cut the deficit down to 3. Still 3:27 on the clock. Good to see the Knights not giving up, and now they've climbed within 3. For this to happen, Emily, I would imagine they're going to have to win every draw here in the final 3 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Or force some sort of mistake on Emmanuel's part fast and early.
And if you're Emmanuel, you've got that debate. What's been working for them is really being aggressive and taking the ball at the goal. And then you've got the other, I guess, school of thought, just try to run the clock as much as possible.
Yeah, the Knights have not been very strong with the possession off the draws here, but yes, hopefully this is, I don't know what they're going to call on that one, but they're going to let game play.
Yeah.
They're going to call that a check to the head on McLean and let her be able to keep going. Oh,
pass goes
not
past
a good
Barfus.
time to lose a pass.
Oh. Changes possession, gives possession to Emmanuel. See if they try to work the clock a little bit with a 3-goal lead.
This is when you need everybody playing defense. These girls here on the right side of the field are all offensive players, but they really have to step up and play their part and not let this ball get past the restraining line. Great attack by McLean, although they are going to call it probably a check to the head.
Yeah, Hardy thought she had jarred the ball loose. Emmanuel maintains possession.
Got to appreciate the aggression, though. Great job by Magic. They are going to call it a push. They just can't catch a break here.
So will the Lions go for the shot? It looks like they're going to. Now they're going to run a little clock.
Great recovery on the defensive side of things. Great recovery.
Looks like unless they get a clear opening, they're not going to take this shot.
Oh, I don't know what they're going to call there. Is that a charge?
Looks like the Emmanuel player will try to cut through 2 defenders.
They are going to call it on Southern Virginia University.
So the clock's down to 19 seconds for possession for Emmanuel. So we'll see if they go after the goal now with 2:04 to go in the game. Oh, that was Larson, number 10, taking the shot, not able to get it. Kraus with an important save there with the possession clock running down on Emmanuel.
They really are going to have to hurry this if they want to
clock
close
a
this
factor.
gap.
And
Someone
Emmanuel
needs
knows
to
that.
get open for Maddie. She is struggling here. Oh.
A takeaway at this stage of the game might actually be the ball game. And
so here's another rule change that's changed in recent years. Holly was able to kick that ball to herself. Oh, this does look like we have an injury. I think is that Holly?
Can't tell if that, maybe you think, Emily, that might just be a cramp?
No, I don't know. A lot of things happen when you're in that scramble of trying to pick up a ground ball. A lot of dangerous stick actions, and this does bring back memories. I had myself a knee injury on the field here, and it's one of those situations that just really unlucky.
Couldn't tell, like the way they've got that leg stretched out, if it might be a cramp for Natalie Rice, who's actually had a very good game tonight.
Yeah, let's hope. Here we're seeing an element of how the game used to be, right, where you have to stop right where you are. Your stick does need to drop where you were standing so that refs can see that the game stays fair from where they decided to stop the play.
Only 1:20 left on the clock right now with the Knights trailing by 3. Again, they led by 5 at halftime. Had a 5-goal lead at 6-1, a 5-goal lead at halftime, 11-6, and Emmanuel College has come from behind, take a 3-goal lead here in the final minutes. Good news there for Rice to get up. And you wonder again if that was maybe just a cramp, which could be very painful, obviously, and I don't think it's going to be a factor now with only 1:20 left, but that's a tough injury, just from a game injury, to really come back from.
Yeah,
Have you had many cramps playing?
It's not something fun to go through, but it is one of those
and
things.
it's tough to recover from.
It is, but it is better than something worse, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of worse injuries out there that can end your season.
So on the restart here, the Knights again trail by 3, so they're going to have to score 3 times in a minute 20.
Ball is
and they got to get possession, obviously, first.
Emmanuel, and they are playing very fast here. They understand the scramble of this moment, but Southern Virginia cannot seem to be winning these ground ball opportunities.
Knights have it, but they've only got 60 seconds, and it would be tough, obviously, to score 3 times in 60 seconds. And right now, Krause is just having a hard time to find a teammate to pass it to.
Yeah, these defenders are not looking like they really want to get open. They're kind of giving the opportunity to the midfielders like Lauren Thatcher right there.
And right now, I think the Knights are just trying to maybe score one more time before this game ends with an Emmanuel victory. And a missed pass there upfield. Barfus tried to grab it, couldn't. Yeah, it looks like the Emmanuel Lions are going to come away with the victory to go to 2-2, and the Knights are going to drop to 0-2 on the season.
Very scary situation here. You've got a girl who's wide open at the bottom, but they are looking like they're not looking to score anytime soon.
Looks like Emmanuel is just going to run the clock out here.
8 seconds left in the game.
So this is going to be a tough loss for the Knights. They led early 6-1. They led at halftime 11-6.
That is game.
And they scored just 3 times in the second half after scoring 11 times, Emily, in the first half, and gave up 11 goals in the second half. And Emmanuel College, that was a well-earned road victory for them, considering they were down by 5 at halftime.
A hard loss. You can see the girls congratulating Maddie Krause, though. She really did have a good game. This game did showcase the versatility of talent that this team does have at the beginning. We saw how many shooters that can really make something happen with the ball, but really unfortunate outcome at the end of this game.
When you look at this game, you mentioned Krause having a good game. The Knights were able to get some good offensive scoring from players like Lauren Thatcher, Hannah King, also Magic Knowles, just to name a few. But what is there one particular area they're going to have to work on? Maybe the defense, the double teams we talked about, where Emmanuel was able to get away in the second half, especially from some of those double teams.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. It's not really, I don't see a huge area where they're struggling here. It's just a lot of the little things, right? Like their draws could have been a lot more powerful if they could have been able to mix up the versatility. Their defense did a great job. There was just a few mix-ups when they tried to really attack those double teams and weren't as strong. Offensively, they did great. It's just that their shots probably weren't as exact or as powerful as they wanted them to be, but this is a great step forward from what the team looked like last year.
And the Knights, again, will be playing this next game coming up on Friday on the road at Greensboro, Friday at 3 o'clock, and then back home for Ferrum College next Tuesday, March the 6th at 4 o'clock before they play again in the Capital Conference on March the 10th against Mary Washington. So they got a chance here in just a few days, Emily, to go on the road to Greensboro and get the victory, get their first win of 2018.
Most definitely. These girls have a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see what this season brings out.
Well, to wrap things up here from the Southern Virginia University, final score again, it was Emmanuel College going on for the victory after trailing at halftime, and Emmanuel College now 2-2 on the season, and the Knights dropping to 0-2 on the season. For Emily Winslow and all of us here at Southern Virginia University, I'm Jim Bresnahan. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, for women's lacrosse action from Southern Virginia University.